So today we're going to look at the monetization of Facebook. Again, it's very similar to the way that Google were able to catch the zeitgeist and literally throw on a new monetization model on an already existing, rapidly developing change in the environment. This is Facebook's revenue, so you're probably all familiar with it. It's grown literally much from zero to probably 120 billion this year, 2023. So June 2023, it's probably estimated at 120 billion revenue top line per annum. And why is that possible? Why was that possible? Well, again, it's very similar. We'll look through the model that we had for Google, which is the free shifts, the perception wheel, and the monetization architecture. So if we start with the free shifts, so Google basically monetized the internet right at the start, but Facebook were able to take care of the mobile element and say that we will be the best mobile facing company for advertising. Again, they follow the Google marketplace model, slightly iterated, but very similar. And as we know, they are king and queen of digital ads. But I think the main reason why Facebook was able to kind of beat some of its competitors was the fact that it actually does partner its constituents and its customers and its clients in a way that many advertisers don't. So their success is really built on your success, but essentially they will make sure that your ads are the most successful they can be, given your creative and the amount you spend. And so in many ways, I believe they're also disruptive, like Google was for the internet, by partnering with you, particularly the agencies, and also offering at the kind of the best price, a market price that obviously makes them a lot of profit, but is still a market price which is very visible and very clear to people that use it. So as always, we're going to use our monetization ontology, the architecture which enables us to go through the 8 steps and show how they built their monetization model in a simple way. And again, this is the overall ontology, which you can see some of the variants. This is not exhaustive, but you can see some of the key variants that most companies are able to use. So let's start with Peter Diamandis' supply and demand trending towards zero. So as we've touched on before, any company that's able to have its demand or its cost of demand at a marginal level and cost of supply at a marginal level trend towards zero will be hugely successful. And we can see that the cost of demand, you can argue the cost of advertisers, is very, very cheap for Facebook because it's got a very good ad platform. And similarly, the cost of supply, pretty much our attention, is also zero because we use Instagram, Facebook, etc. for various unproductive reasons, but clearly we like it. So therefore you can see that they were able, like Google and to a degree LinkedIn, take care of the trending marginal cost of demand and marginal cost of supply to zero. So let's start with the monetization of Facebook. That's the way that we start. So in reality, as you say, most people believe that Facebook is the root of all evil, but in many ways it's the best advertising machine ever created, even better than Google. Because in many ways, Google is much more intent driven. You go for a Google search and you know what you're looking for, and then Google kind of surfaces things very close to that. Whereas Facebook could stop you in your tracks, whether it be IG or just on your old Facebook, and just basically advertise to you. And so therefore, in many ways, they have to be better than Google at advertising to you and making sure that you buy something that you don't really want. So I would say the number one is, let's just go through the list. Probably the self-serve marketplace. Let's go through that first. Very similar to Google. So in many ways, by making it easier to advertise, obviously you're going to increase the TAM of the adverts per se, because you're going to make sure that anybody, small business, little corner shop, or a brand new D2C brand, can basically just go on a platform and advertise straight away. So very similar to Google, I believe that the ability for anybody, a non-specialist, to advertise definitely allowed the growth of the Facebook ad machine. And then next, you could argue, okay, if you do advertise online, what do you need next? Well, you kind of need a way to see how well your ad's doing. And so I believe the dashboard came next, and I think this is called Facebook Ads Manager. And so you add that in and you say the combination of being able to advertise and it being almost like the equivalent of Excel, something that anybody can get started on, but become very good, you need to spend a lot of time on. But that allowed people to enter the system and to advertise for products that would never been available for adverts before. And similarly, you could argue that by allowing people to see in the Facebook ad manager how well their campaign is doing, that was the next step. Now you need, a way people know that they can fairly transact ads. So this would come with let's just say the principle, which is we're going to charge you a market-based price. And that allowed the comfort of people believe in that once they know their product is advertised on Facebook, that they're getting kind of the best price that they possibly could to advertise that product. That goes there. But in reality, that doesn't mean anything unless you can actually have a really good pricing tool. So the anchor-based pricing says we will price at a market price as best as possible as we determine. So then you look at the next one would be the equilibrium auction price. Now, in reality, you could have a straightforward auction. If we talked about the Google one a couple of weeks ago, where Google have a second price auction, which is essentially trying to clear the market inventory that they have. Now, Facebook have something kind of similar, but it's much more based on the mixture of how much you bid, plus how good your ad is in creative and the ability for the ad to get someone to commit an action. So in many ways, you could argue that supply for Facebook is free, but they still don't want to annoy the customer so much that the customer doesn't want to use Facebook or Instagram anymore. And so in reality, they do have an interest in making sure that ad is a particularly good quality. And so the mixture of the bid price plus the action rate plus the ad quality will win you the bid for your particular ad slot. So I believe this is the next most important thing, showing that people that it's not just a case of the ads that you produce, they have to be of a certain quality. So if I just move that backwards or move that back there. So now we have the kind of core part. There's one other key part of the revenue monetization model. And I believe that's the packaging, in the sense that even better than Google, Facebook allowed people to create campaigns which Facebook could copy dynamically and also test on various different audiences. So in many ways, advertising is just basically market research. You put something out there and then you work out whether it's any good. Facebook, even better than Google, were able to work out a way that they could test that kind of ad on multiple different audiences, so they could optimize it for basically for you to make money, really, because the more money you make, the more adverts you make and the more money they make. So it's very much aligned with their principle that goes there, which then feeds in, you could argue, that the fact that even though people believe Facebook is toxic, its principle is really based on partnering with you to maximize your ad spend. But the only way you're going to maximize your ad spend is if your ads are doing any good. And therefore, the better they can make your ads kind of results-wise, the more you're going to advertise. So I believe, contrary to public opinion, that actually they are a very, very key partner in the success of your business. That's whether you're an agency or whether you're a small mom and pop shop just advertising on Facebook for a bit of DTC. Now, the other ones aren't as materially important, so we can just add these in. Basically, the sales are normally outright. They can be recurring, but that would be a different monetary amount every single day. Just by putting the same ads on, you could do that, but it's not key to their success. And then you could argue that obviously they charge advertisers. We are essentially not paying, most of us, but we are the product. Obviously, our eyeballs are the ones that are being advertised to. That's lots in there, and that's going to go back a little bit. And that one goes back as well. There we have it, the monetization of Facebook. And so very similar to Google, and you could argue that Facebook and Google dominate the ad space because they own pretty much 80-90% of it. And if we come back to why Facebook and Google were able to dominate, well, Google here was at the rise of the internet, and they were the most successful in finding a business model for digital ads, and Facebook were the best at monetizing the mobile wave for digital ads. You could argue The next wave could be AI, and we can see many people are chasing that, but they would also need another channel, which mobile was, which the internet was, to enable the company to become as big as Google or Facebook. So there we have it, the monetization of Facebook. Bye for now.